unequal. If your parents and grandparents could say there was no problem, even at a time when you know full well there was, what does that say about the ability of white Americans to discern the reality that black people and brown people in this country are living? I would say that it says we're probably not the best judge of when racism is a thing, and we ought to listen to black folks because they know their lives better than we do.
Tim Wise, thank you so much for joining us. David, you're going to stick around. Coming up, what's really behind the 911 calls on black people for doing everyday activities? When we come back, Court TV takes a look at how cell phone and surveillance videos are changing the narrative when it comes to policing African Americans.
I did see on the news about the story about Ahmad, and just thinking about the similarities between the cases, and it's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking to know what he went through as a young man and what his family is going through. It's very, very heartbreaking.
That was Sabrina Fulton, the mother of Trayvon Martin, talking about the death of Ahmaud Arbery and how it is similar to her son's 2012 shooting. Welcome back to Court TV special Black and Blue. I'm Julia Janae. This hour, we are examining the justice system's relationship with African Americans and how we can all be a part of the solution. Court TV's Julie Grant looks at how surveillance and cell phone videos are shedding light and maybe helping to bring justice to white civilians who police black Americans.
Something's wrong with him. Yeah, he's come to check me out. He's got something in his hand.
Are you following him?
Yeah.
Okay, we don't need you to do that.
Okay.
That's George Zimmerman talking to a 911 dispatcher before confronting 17-year-old Trayvon Martin and shooting him to death in February 2012. It was perhaps the most infamous case of a civilian policing a black person doing an everyday activity.
Verdict: we, the jury, find George Zimmerman not guilty.
The verdict was driven in part by Zimmerman's story that he was defending himself against an attack. There was no video to prove otherwise.
George Zimmerman was the only witness to the account, so he was the only one who could share his side of the story, and that was the story that the jury heard.
Well, what did they do? What did they do? Just tell me what they did.
Now, with the widespread use of surveillance cameras and cell phone video,
I have every right to call the police. You cannot sleep in that room.
narratives may be changing, paving the way for what seems to be more accountability.
What we're going to see is more people taking responsibilities with their phones. People are more aware of their own responsibility in the community.
You want to call the police on them.
I have called.
You want to call the police on them for having a barbecue on a Sunday at the lake.
Yes.
2 years ago in Oakland, California, this woman was ridiculed on social media. She became known as Barbecue Becky after she called police on black men barbecuing in a park.
Illegally selling water without a permit?
Social media dubbed this woman Permit Patty after she called 911 to report a black girl for selling water on a San Francisco sidewalk without a permit.
Sorry, I'm asking you to stop.
Please don't go close to me.
This recent encounter in New York's Central Park made headlines after it was posted to Facebook on Memorial Day.
I'm going to tell them there's an African-American man threatening my life.
Please tell them whatever you like.
The man recording on his cell phone is birdwatcher Christian Cooper. He had asked the woman named Amy Cooper to follow park rules and leash her dog.
I'm being threatened by a man in the ramble. Please send the cops immediately. After
the incident, Amy Cooper said she is not a racist, but it was not enough to convince her employer. Franklin Templeton fired Cooper and tweeted, "We do not tolerate racism of any kind." This video was key evidence in a case covered by Court TV. Florida versus Michael Draka. Convenience store surveillance video shows white Florida resident Michael Draka arguing with a black woman he believed was illegally parked in a handicap spot on July 19, 2018.
And I come out like this, he's taking his step. Taking what step? Taking his steps towards me.
But on the store surveillance video, the jury saw the victim, Marquise McLaughlin, returning to his family's car. McLaughlin shoves Draka and was stepping back when Draka pulled out his gun and shot and killed McLaughlin. The jury did not believe this was a case of self-defense and convicted Draka of manslaughter in front of Court TV cameras in August of 2019. Ahmaud